I'm watching the people who are actually in the game doing their thing, but I'm here watching from the stands. Like, how can I figure out how to get into the game in my own life? YouTube, what's good? Alex Moore back with another video. Appreciate y'all as always for tuning into the channel. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe on today's video. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at realalexmoore_. Today I got a very special video for y'all. I'm gonna be sharing my experience 6 months in on self-improvement. I'm gonna give you guys some tips on what I've learned myself and how this whole experience has made me a better person. I've been on YouTube on and off over the past 6 or 7 years. I've made vlogs, I've made self-improvement videos, some semen retention videos, some saving for a house videos, a little bit of everything mixed in between. I've never quite stuck on YouTube. I had the most success on YouTube or saw the most traction 2022 and early 2023. During this time, I was actually living at home with my mom. I was going through a toxic situationship that had just ended, and I was really just building myself up as a man. During this time, really big on semen retention, really big on journaling, going to the gym, doing a lot of self-help stuff, just self-care stuff. And at this time, I was also unemployed. I had just gotten laid off not too long ago from a job, so I really had a lot of time to just focus on myself and pour into YouTube as well. Over this time, I started to build a little mini community, very, very small, obviously, but a little community nonetheless. And I really enjoyed that time period. You guys got to see me flourish, see me grow. During that time, things started to turn around. I ended up getting a job that paid me even more money than the previous job had. I was saving up a lot of money to go ahead and buy a home, and eventually everything came together and I was able to buy a home, move to a new state, and start my new life. And everything seemed to be perfect on that. Everything was going exactly how I had planned it to go. That was until I had gotten laid off from that job about a month and a half after moving into this home. Once this happened and the money stopped coming in, I had to deal with isolation, just being alone, away from my family, being away from my friends. I got really embarrassed. I really didn't want to post on YouTube. When I was posting on YouTube, it was really inconsistent, and it was really just more so sad content, if I'm being honest. Me being inside, me spending time alone, and there wasn't really any value that was coming from that type of content. I had stepped away from YouTube for a little bit of time, but in April, I had decided I was ready to come back to YouTube. I had just hired a mentor, a coach, somebody who had success on YouTube, had experience in the gym, had experience in a lot of things that I was looking to get right in myself. One of the things that I told him was, I want to lock back in on YouTube. I want to get back to posting YouTube videos. I'm going to get into this first point in a minute, but it was something that was a lot harder than I expected. When I came back, I felt like I was a rookie starting all over at day one or day zero. That brings me to the very first tip that I have when it comes to starting your self-improvement journey, and that is embracing the uncomfortable times. And the reason why I say that is because when I came back to YouTube, I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. I felt like I didn't have knowledge. I was kind of embarrassed and ashamed of myself for being in this position where finances were tight, because I was like, man, I don't know how to record content. Like, if I just drop vlogs, it's gonna be vlogs of me just inside every single day. I was able to work through those uncomfortable times. I was able to start making self-improvement videos. I was able to start documenting more of my experience and what I was going through, documenting the highs, but also documenting the lows. One of the things that I started doing that I never imagined I would do is start recording videos in the gym. I was making gym vlogs, bro. And that was so uncomfortable. That was so hard for me as somebody who was always on the slimmer side, somebody who didn't really feel like he had the physique or the results to really give tips to people. But I started making gym content and I started loving it. And it went from feeling so hard, so awkward, feeling like people were looking at me, to now it's one of the easiest types of content I can make. And I feel kind of like I'm cheating when I'm making content when I do a gym vlog, just because it's really not as hard as I thought it was. And I put all that pressure on me doing the gym content, and now it's a piece of cake. It's like I could pick up this camera, go to the gym, and talk to you guys like it's nothing. Another thing that I had started doing that I never imagined I would do before is start making whiteboard videos. Same thing, another intimidating factor, something that I'm like, man, whiteboard videos, like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I have bad handwriting. I don't really know how this is gonna look angle-wise. I've been able to push through and put out these videos anyways, whether they do good or do bad. I've been able to be proud of myself for at least getting the videos out, trying something new, giving these opportunities a new chance. That's the first thing I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to starting your journey, is to start doing things that are uncomfortable. Whether that's you approaching a new stranger, somebody who you haven't dealt with one-on-one before, and just introducing yourself, saying, hey, my name's Alex, or hey, what's your name? Just starting some random conversation. I would recommend you guys just do something different and step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. One thing that I've done also stepping outside of my comfort zone is posting a lot more on social media. I'm somebody who is a little bit more on the reserved side, a little bit more on the introvert side, if you want to call it that. I've never been one to really talk on camera on social media, especially Instagram. I don't really feel like a lot of people talk on Instagram anymore, at least the way they used to back in the day. But I post a lot of stories on Instagram now. A lot of them me talking to the camera, just talking about what I've learned from books or what I'm learning in the fitness industry, or even just posting YouTube clips or talking about my newest YouTube video. I'm seeing myself do things that I never saw myself doing before. And one thing I want to tell you guys when it comes to this is, as you do it more and more, it gets easier and easier. It's not as hard for me to open up the camera and just start talking now the way it was 6 months ago when I was first getting started. I was really frustrated back in April or May whenever I first started, because I was like, man, this does not feel easy. This doesn't feel right. And now I look at myself now and it's just like, man, I could pick up the camera and just start talking anywhere, whether there's people around me or whether I'm solo. Now, there is still things that I want to improve on just from a speaking to the camera standpoint. A lot of it is having more energy, having more emotion, making the videos more entertaining in general. But a lot of that will come just as I continue to get the reps in the first place. I want to tell you guys, just because things are uncomfortable at first, or just because you do something for the first time and you don't get the result you want, doesn't mean that you need to stop doing it. If anything, you need to double down and keep doing it, because over time it's going to get easier and easier. That goes for if you're making YouTube videos, if you're trying to get better at public speaking, if you're trying to figure out ways to make new money, more money, whatever the case may be. You're probably going to suck at it. You're probably not going to be good at first, but everybody else sucked at whatever they were doing for the first time as well. Look at it as you're not alone. Look at it as, okay, if people say something to you or they judge you, whatever the case may be, so what? They're probably not the people who have the success that you want anyway, so it really shouldn't matter. Typically, the people who are successful in your field, more times than not, are gonna tell you to keep going. They're gonna give you good advice and actually give you the right criticism that's gonna help you go in the right direction. All my people starting their self-improvement journey, first thing I wanna do is say, step outside of your comfort zone. Don't keep doing the same things that you've done your whole life. Second thing I want to talk about might be tough for you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if everybody is built to handle this or realize this is what's gonna come with your journey, but that's sacrifice. I don't think I've ever had to sacrifice as much over these past 6 months as I have. I feel like I've had to sacrifice dang near everything, if I'm being honest. I sacrifice my sleep. I wake up now between 4 o'clock and 4:15, 4:30, somewhere in that range, pretty much almost every single day. On the weekends, I may sleep in a little bit, maybe until 5:30, 6 a.m., but for the most part, I am waking up very, very early. And that's just because, now there's a lot of things that I need to get done on a day-to-day basis. I'm waking up early, going to the gym, I'm having a meal prep, I'm going to my 9 to 5, and then after my 9 to 5, I might be working on YouTube videos, or I might be doing DoorDash, or I might be applying to jobs. A lot of things going on a day-to-day basis that's different from how it was before, when maybe I was waking up early and going to the gym, but besides that, when I come home, I could pretty much do whatever I wanted to do. I could FaceTime friends, I could talk to family, I could watch the basketball games or the football games. I don't watch sports anymore, which is insane because I'm extremely, extremely big on sports. And I first started this channel, this used to be a basketball channel. I used to make basketball breakdown videos on what was going on in the NBA. I slowly transitioned out of that around 2021, but that's my first love. And it's football season right now. Football is back. I'm a huge Raiders fan and just football fan in general. I haven't watched a single bit of football. Somebody called me on FaceTime yesterday and she was at the bar watching the game and she was shocked. She told me she was watching the Chiefs and the Eagles. Yeah, the Chiefs played the Eagles. I was like, oh, who's winning? Like, what's the score? Da, da, da. And she looked at me kind of crazy. She was like, what, you don't watch sports no more either? And I kind of had to laugh and I was like, actually, I really don't watch sports like that. I might catch the highlights on YouTube, or I might go on Bleacher Report and look up stats real quick, but for the most part, I don't know what's going on in the entertainment scene like that anymore. And that's another big sacrifice that I've had to go through. I had to realize I'm not the man that I want to be just yet. Do I need to be watching sports right now? I'm watching the people who are actually in the game doing their thing, but I'm here watching from the stands. Like, how can I figure out how to get into the game in my own life? I'm watching the people who are actually in the game doing their thing, but I'm here watching from the stands. Like, how can I figure out how to get into the game in my own life? And that might mean instead of watching the game, I'm filming these YouTube videos, or I'm applying for the jobs, or I'm reading the books, whatever the case may be. That's one of the sacrifices that I've had to make. Another sacrifice I've had to make is just not talking to as many people as I used to before. My days are really packed and I'm trying to get a lot done in a small amount of time, especially since the 9 to 5 takes up a good amount of time and I still have the gym in the morning. I only have 3-4 hours to make the most of my day. I only have one friend I really talk to. That's my boy Dylan, and half the time we're just talking about my YouTube videos. He's giving me tips, or he's letting me know that these videos have inspired him. It's a lot of self-improvement type conversations. If I'm not interacting with people who are on that same wave as me, trying to do better, whether it's in the gym, trying to do better as far as finances go, or just trying to improve in some type of area, it's kind of hard at this point for me to really interact with people anymore the way I used to. Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, most people are out going to the bar or doing this or doing that, and it's like I'm at the crib just trying to get my life together, bro. I hate to say it like that, but one thing I do want to say when it comes to sacrifice is it's all temporary. You're not going to be going through this forever. I'm not going to be just in the house on the weekends forever. Eventually I will watch sports again and I'll do this and do that, but in the meantime, I have to sacrifice. My finances aren't where I want it to be. If the YouTube isn't where I want it to be, the physique isn't where I want it to be, all these things aren't where I want it to be. I've reached a point where it feels weird if I'm not working on that stuff. It's like I feel guilty trying to do certain things when I know I'm not the man that I need to be. That's one thing I want to tell you guys on your self-improvement journey is you might have to sacrifice. Just know sacrifice will come with the game. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of hurt, a lot of things going on. But you have to just push through those adversity. You have to push through those tough times. The next tip that I have for you guys when it comes to starting your self-improvement journey is understanding not everybody's gonna support you and not everybody's gonna see the vision. I can think back to where I first started my self-improvement journey back in April. I posted on Instagram, I'm locking in on YouTube, and I'm locking in on posting more on Instagram and doing this and doing that. And at first there was a lot of love, I'm not gonna lie. At first people was like, man, I'm just happy to see your face again, Alex. Like, you haven't really been active for some time now. Support was there on the YouTube videos. You know, it's like that brand new, you know how you guys start a brand new business or something, and when you first start, like that first week, the love is there, everybody's rooting you, but over time, it's like people just jump off the bandwagon and it's just less people, it's less people, it's less people. That's been my experience on this self-improvement journey as well. At first, when I was waking up at 4 a.m., people was excited, happy to see that, was happy to see me in the gym, happy to see me post some YouTube videos, XYZ, but over time that kind of went away. That's one thing you have to understand is on this journey, a lot of times if you don't have a circle of people on self-improvement with you, it's gonna be a lot of time spent alone. It's gonna be a lot of time people not really believing in you like that. People questioning, why are you working on YouTube when you could be out celebrating with us? People are gonna be like, why do you think that you don't have to drink alcohol or eat this fast food? Like, why are you trying to have this perfect gym bod or whatever the case may be? And that can be a little deflating at times, especially when it's coming from people who are close to you, people who don't see the vision. I can definitely remember times where I got into arguments or disagreements with some of my loved ones, some of the people closest to me, because they didn't see the vision with me working on YouTube. They didn't think that I could actually be a YouTuber, that I could see the success that I wanted in the gym or just with all of these things. You have to understand when you're starting your journey, whether you're trying to make more money than somebody else has made, more money in your family than ever before, or you're trying to start a YouTube or be a singer or just do whatever the case may be, understand the people closest to you probably aren't gonna understand. They're probably not gonna support you like that. And you have to understand that that's normal. A lot of times people just want to settle for what's comfortable, what it is that they know. So if all people know is making $50,000 a year, who are you to want to make $50,000 in a month? They're going to look at you like that's impossible. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to look at you when they see you with all these sleepless nights with no results, working on your craft. Why are you still working on this when you've seen no results so far? And you have to remind yourself, you know, what are you doing it for? Why do you believe you can do all this? What is your why? Do you have a good enough burning desire? That's something that Think and Grow Rich talks a lot about, is you have to write this stuff down on a piece of paper, what it is that you want. You have to look at it every single day, because there's going to be a lot of outside noise. There's going to be a lot of people looking at you like, dude, you can't do this. You've been doing this for 3 months, for 6 months, and you haven't seen the results. Why are you still going? And that's one thing that I've I've had to understand and just work through is, you know, I can post on YouTube, and yeah, the YouTube hasn't hit just yet, but just because it hasn't hit just yet doesn't mean that it won't hit one day. If I quit or I stop, then they were right about me. Or if I keep taking breaks like I have in the past and having to start all over again, it's like you have to build up that momentum all over again from scratch, from day one. So I want to tell you guys, don't be mad when people don't support. Don't be mad when people don't repost your videos, when they don't comment, when they don't shout you out, when they see you working, but just keep it pushing. It does hurt, I'm not gonna lie, but eventually you get to a point where you understand, like, man, it is what it is. They're just not gonna support until they see the end result. They're gonna look back and come back like, yo, I always knew you could do it. I'm so proud of you. I was bragging about you to everybody else. Do you really mean that, or are you just saying that? Because you don't comment on none of my stuff. You don't like none of my stuff. So I don't be knowing if it's real or if it's fake, but either way, just know that's a part of the game. And the fourth tip I have for you guys, and this is 100% mental, is you're gonna question if you're seeing results or not. You're gonna question if you're seeing progress or not. This is why it's so important to have a coach or a mentor. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like week to week for the first 3-4 months, I just kept going to my mentor saying, dog, like, I don't know if I'm making progress. I don't know if this is working. I think I'm doing everything wrong. And he would just laugh at me every single time and say, bro, you've only been doing this for a month. You've been doing this for 2 months, 3 months, whatever the case may be. Why do you feel like you should have it all figured out? And I think that's just with social media, just seeing how other people are, other people who have gotten the results quicker. I think we always see on TV or YouTube or whatever, this guy who went from broke to rich in 6 months, or this guy who went from skinny to jacked in 6 months, or this guy who blew up his Instagram 10K followers in a month. We get that false idea that that's supposed to be me. What you have to understand is everybody's timeline is different. It might take you 1 month to get 10,000 followers on Instagram. Like, that is possible. But it might also take you a year to get 10,000 followers on Instagram as well. I think the key is to understand, you know, are you still gonna show up every single day even when the results aren't there? Can you keep pushing through? If anything, can you learn from your mistakes? Can you see what that person did and try to implement some of that? Don't copy. We can't copy anybody. That's one thing I've had to learn, because I do feel like I had struggled at times with trying to copy other people and be somebody I'm not. And get frustrated when you don't see the results you want. It's like you have to be yourself. You have to be you in order to have this organic reach, but figure out what those people are doing. Maybe they're doing something that you're not doing. And that's one thing I've had to realize myself is there's a lot of adjustments I could have made that I've been hard-headed about myself. So many things where if you look back and take accountability, you can kind of look back and say, I probably could have did this a little bit different, or I'm still doing the same boneheaded mistakes that I was doing before I started my self-improvement journey. It's all about reflection. It's all about making those minor adjustments. It's all about looking back on a day by day, week by week, month by month basis and seeing, okay, what do I need to do to overcome this hurdle? I'm just so thankful that I've done a much better job over these past few months of understanding, okay, everybody's timeline is different. Everybody's time is different. It might just not be your time right now, Alex. Maybe you have to learn more before the YouTube can take off more. Maybe you have to make a few more adjustments and be more uncomfortable before the YouTube can adjust more. Maybe you have to do something a little bit different in order for that income to change the way you want it to. You can't get so caught up in things not moving so fast. My mentor does a great job of just telling me, like, bro, you're in the 0 to 32 degrees, period. You never know when your time is coming. You might be at 22 degrees right now. You might be at 26 degrees right now. But if you stop, then you're gonna go back to 0 and you have to start all over again. Who wants to do that? You can just build up the momentum. I've had so many frustrations, so many days where I was pissed off, whether it's with the YouTube not taking off or even with the gym. I wanna bench press 225 pounds and I wanna squat 225 pounds and I'm still far off from that. I'm only squatting 165 and benching 155. Keep in mind that's for a lot of reps, like that's a 10 to 12 rep range. It can be frustrating on a week by week basis when you're not making gains in the gym, still hitting that 155 and it's like, bro, I've been on this for 3 weeks. You're gonna tell me I'm still not over this hump yet? Or the YouTube, I'm still stuck in the 100 to 200 view range yet. Like, I still haven't figured out how to overcome this hurdle. And so I'll just say to you guys, you're gonna question your progress. You're gonna look at these guys who got the overnight success. You just gotta keep pushing through, bro. Everybody's timeline is different. Everybody's life is different. I truly do believe we all can make it if we don't give up, if we keep showing up. And the last tip I have for you guys, tip number 5, self-improvement never ends, bro. But I already know once I am bench pressing 225 pounds, once I'm squatting 225 pounds, I know the next thing I'm going for is 315. I know when my money starts getting up more, I know I'm just gonna wanna reach a new level with the money. I wanna make $20,000 a month. And I know even when I make the 20, I'm probably gonna wanna make 30 or 40 or 50 because I've seen that it's possible. Right now, I have a long ways to go to that point. I haven't even fully figured out all of the vehicles to get there, but I do at least know that it's possible. I know that it's possible because I've seen people do it. I've been around people through YouTube videos, whatever, people who are younger than me making this type of money easy. They look at me like 20,000, like, bro, that's easy. You could make that, no problem. I know making the 20,000 is possible. I know getting the physique I want is possible. I know getting the YouTube to grow is possible. I know strengthening my mental mind and not being in my own head all the time is possible. But these things don't end. I can celebrate a little bit, be happy for a day or two or maybe a week because I got those results that I wanted. But after that, you have to understand there's more work to do. I like to look at it like LeBron, bro. LeBron still wakes up at 4 or 5 o'clock every single day and works out. LeBron is still working to make more money. LeBron is still pushing, giving everything he has to basketball, even at 40, 41 years old. Why does he do that? He does it because it's a part of his identity. He does it because that's who he is. I don't think LeBron would know what to do if he wasn't a hard worker. He probably wouldn't be able to sleep at night. It gets to the point when it's not even about the money, it's just like that's a part of who you are. That's the person I'm looking to become, is the man who, regardless of if I'm at $0 or $50,000, $100,000, whatever the case may be, I'm the same man. I'm the same hardworking person regardless. And once you build up those habits, once you build up those systems, you're not gonna get so caught up on the wins or the losses because it's like that's just who you are. There's just more work to do. And I think I've seen enough people, whether it's in real life or on TV, who, you know, they get the money and they get complacent, or they get the physique and then all of a sudden they think they don't have to work out anymore. It's like, bro, you just spent all this time working to get a six-pack, and then you got a six-pack and now you want to start eating ice cream or eating pizza or drinking a whole bunch of alcohol or doing this or doing that. And it's like, bro, like, it's gonna go away. Like, anything you don't do over time is gonna go away. So why have the mindset of, okay, once I bench 225, then I'm just gonna stop? Like, you're just gonna lose everything and go back to square one. I don't want to keep doing that over and over again because I've already had to start and stop so many different times in my life, and I don't want to go through that anymore. I want to leave that message with you guys just so you understand this is something that I'm doing forever. This isn't just a 1 year thing I'm gonna do or a 6 month thing I'm gonna do. Nah, bro, like, you got to do it forever. Like, obviously, as I said earlier, you don't have to sacrifice as much. Like, you can still start to hang out with your friends or talk to your family or go on dates or do whatever as you're closer and closer to becoming the man that you want to be, whatever that means for you. But understand that you don't just slack off and just throw all the habits that you built up away. And so that's where we're at now. I'm wrapping up the first 6 months of my self-improvement journey, and I've seen just so many different things change. Mentally, I feel like I'm a lot stronger than I was before. Physically, I'm a lot stronger than I was before. From a consistency and a discipline standpoint, I'm so much better than I was before. And I can only imagine if I can take these habits and double down and fix some of the things that I've been doing wrong, where I can go. Because I definitely haven't been perfect on this journey. There's been days where I didn't get everything done that I was supposed to do. And I can only imagine, instead of me completing everything 75, 80% of the time, if I can get to 90% or 95% or 100% and just do those things every single day. It's like, man, maybe in the 6 months, who knows? Who knows where I'm at in the next 6 months? Maybe I am making the 20K. Maybe I am hitting the 225. You know, maybe I am more confident in myself. Maybe the videos are 10 times better. I've stepped outside of my comfort zone and now I make even different type of content. You never know what can happen. The biggest thing is to just not give up and keep going with whatever it is that you're doing. I've really enjoyed these past 6 months. I do recommend to anybody looking to start their self-improvement journey, if you've been somebody to start and stop for years and are finally tired of that, I do recommend you get a coach. You do lock in with somebody who can take you to the next level. If it's money related, fitness related, looks maxing related, whatever the case may be, get somebody who's had those proven results and will be there with you on the journey, because I know how hard it is trying to do it on your own. If you're not that disciplined, it's really hard, bro. Like, I get it. So that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. Make sure you do leave a like, comment, and subscribe on today's video. Let me know down in the comments below what you're looking to accomplish over these next few months. It's Alex. I'll see you on the next video. I'm out.